Hello and welcome to week 5 of our geography learning. Week 5, wow, how quick has this term gone, guys? So let's move on. What are we going to be learning about today? By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to know what a coastline is. You'll be able to identify different features of coasts, and you'll know what this word here, down the bottom here, landlocked means. Just like always, guys, pause the video, and at certain points I'm going to tell you to pause the video. Then do that and go back and rewatch it if you have to. So, moving on. Some vocabulary that you're going to meet today. We already know these words here: sea and ocean. Water, salt water that makes up sea and ocean, and beach. Beaches can be sandy, they can be pebbly, they come in all different shapes and sizes. We'll have a look at some of those today and some of the features of those. And some keywords that you might not know. Cliff. Now, a cliff is a steep side of rock that is next to the sea. We'll have a look at some of that today. Coast and coastline, very important words for today. And I'm going to explain that in probably my next slide. And harbour. Harbour is a man-made, a human feature that we quite often find along coastlines. Moving on. So, have a little think now. Pause this video. There's 4 pictures in front of you. What is a coast? Pause the video and have a think. Thank you, well done. A coast is quite simply, and I want you to say this back to yourself, a coast is where the land meets the sea. Where the land meets the sea. Thank you. It's where the land, here you can see the land if you follow my mouse, where the land meets the sea. Where the land meets the sea, where the land meets the sea, where the land meets the sea. There's some very picturesque looking coastlines there. Now, you can see here on the right hand side of your screen, there is a map of the United Kingdom. We see England, we live down here in London, in Bexley. We've got Wales there, we've got Scotland, missing Northern Ireland off of there, but that's okay. So, what can you say about the coastline of the United Kingdom? Have a good think. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. What do you notice about this? All these blue dots are coastlines, areas of coast around the United Kingdom. Yeah, it has coastline all the way around it. The United Kingdom is an island, so we've got a coastline that goes all the way around our country. Now let's compare it to a different country. Here is a map of the world. Here's the United Kingdom here, an island, and we've just said that it has a coastline all the way around it. Here is China. If you follow my mouse here, you'll see China. I want you to have a good look. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to think in a second. What do you notice about China's coastland that's different to our coastland? Our coastline goes all the way around. Have 10 seconds to think. Let's have a look. China's coastland is different. China has some coastland as it is surrounded by land and sea. It doesn't have coastland all the way around it like we do. You'll see they've got this long stretch down here where the land meets the sea. But in this part of China over here, the land doesn't meet the sea. So it doesn't have a coastline all the way around it like us. And like Australia, if we look down here, follow my mouse, you can see Australia has a coastline that goes all the way around it because it's an island. Let's find somewhere else. Iceland up here, if you're following my mouse, has a coastline all the way around it because it's an island. But lots of countries don't. Brazil here has a coastline down its east side, but the west side of Brazil is landlocked. It's land meeting land. Does Mongolia have a coastline? So look really closely now. I'll give you a clue. Mongolia is by China. Pause this video. Find Mongolia. Great, guys. If you found Mongolia, well done. If you didn't, Mongolia is up here where my mouse is now. Have a little think. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to think. What do you notice about Mongolia's coastline? Does it even have a coastline? Well done. It doesn't have a coastline. Mongolia is a landlocked, my turn, landlocked. Is a landlocked country because it doesn't have any coastline at all. If you lived in Mongolia, you couldn't go and look at the sea by staying in Mongolia. You'd have to go to another country. There's lots of countries in Europe as well, in particular. Austria, I believe here, is landlocked. You can't, they don't have any sea on their coastline. Chad in the middle of Africa here doesn't have any coastline. Bolivia down here in South America doesn't have any either. There's a few countries, there's lots of countries in Asia as well. Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, we can see there, are completely landlocked. They don't have any. So there are many, many different features in our UK coastlines. So we spoke about our UK coastlines. We know the UK has a coastline all the way around it. And here are some important words that we're going to need to learn today, guys. This first one here, cliffs. Cliffs. Cliffs here, I briefly explained this at the start of the session. You can see it's a steep side of rock that meets the sea. So here is our cliff. It's really steep and then it goes into the sea. That's a cliff, really simply. A stack, my turn, stacks. Stacks. Stacks are bits of rock that are pointing up out of the sea, and they're usually all surrounded by sea. So here you can see it's a bit of rock that's pointing up out the sea. You can see one here over here. Beaches, next word, beaches. Beaches, love going to the beach in the summer. Sandy beaches or pebbly beaches. My children hate pebbly beaches because it hurts their feet. Sandy beaches here is a low part of ground where it meets the land meets the sea. So you can walk in for a beach usually. And mud flats is that last one. My turn. Mud flats. Mud flats are a little bit different to beaches. Beaches are usually made of sand or rocks. Mud flats, which I'm sure you can probably guess, are made of mud. They're very, very muddy, quite really hard to walk through. Yeah, there's a very muddy consistency to them. So let's have a look on here. I'm just going to give you 10 seconds in a second. Can you match some of these words up to what is going on in this picture here? I'll give you a clue. Mud flats isn't on it, but cliffs, stacks and beaches are. I'll give you 10. 3, 2, 1. Let's have a look. So up here we've got stacks. You can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks there, which is a big bit of rock that is pointing up at the sea and surrounded by water. We can see we've got a beach down here, which is a low part of ground where the land meets the sea, which you could walk into. And up here we've got a cliff, which is a very steep area of rock where the land meets the sea. Here's some coastlines here. Here's some human features of a coastline. Have a little think, pause this video. What do you notice about these coastlines? So pause the video now. Well done. These are what we call harbours. My turn. Harbour or ports. Ports, harbours. Harbours. And these are easy access for ships and boats. So they're a coastline is an easy access for ships and boats. So they're made into harbours and ports. And these are really, really important, guys. These, I think that's like a ferry there, which is going to transport people, maybe cars. And but they're really, really important for transporting goods like fishing, or if when the United Kingdom buy things from abroad, they're usually delivered into ports. So they would arrive on a big boat and then they would be offloaded. So super, super important places. Historically as well, ports were very good for protection against invasion. So if another country wanted to invade our country, they may land in our port. So it's really good to protect ourselves there. So what could you do today? Here's a little idea that you could do today. You could make a 3D model and label it with some of those words that we've come across today. Here's a little example. I'd love to see some of these coming through, guys. So you could label things like a cliff, like stacks, the sea and the beach. That would be fantastic. Let's have a little go at this though before we let you get on with your independent tasks. There are 5 pictures here, and there are 5 words down the bottom: cliff, mudflat, beach, harbour, and stack. Pause this video, match those words up. So pause now. Super, well done, guys. Let's go through these answers now. Let's have a look. This top one up here in the top left-hand corner, well done. Oops, well done. If you said that was a mud flat, well done if you said that was a mud flat. or that is a cliff actually. Sorry, there's the cliff, the white cliff across there. So that one there would be cliff. Let's move over to this one here. Well done if you said this was a stack. A stack, you remember, is a tall piece of rock that points up out the ground that is surrounded by water. Well done. So we've got our cliff and our stack. Here, a human feature, a man-made feature that we get along coastlines. Well done if you said that was a harbour. Down here, you can see a bird's eye view of a lovely beach. Remembering a beach is just a shallow part where the land meets the sea, which you can walk into and paddle along. And this last one here is our mud flat. Very, very similar to a beach because it's not steep, but the main difference is it's not sand or rock, but it's very, very muddy and boggy, and they're quite hard to walk through. Quick revision. What does landlocked mean? What does landlocked mean? Pause this video and write down a sentence. What does landlocked mean? Super. Well done. If you said something along the lines of landlocked is a country that doesn't have a coastline because it's surrounded by land, then you're absolutely correct. Here's lots of landlocked countries over here. And we spoke about some of these in our lessons. Africa has a huge part of it that is landlocked, that is surrounded by, where countries are surrounded by land, and they're not surrounded by, they don't have any sea next to them at all. Up here, you can see there's some countries in Europe here, in Asia, there's some countries here that don't have any coastline at all because they are surrounded by other countries. Okay, a quick review of the lesson. I'm going to read the questions out, then I want you to pause and go through these yourself. Question 1, I'm a physical feature where high land meets the sea. Very steep. Is that a harbour, an island, Mongolia, or cliff? Next one, I am land completely surrounded by coastlines and sea. Very similar. Sounds like what the United Kingdom is. Number 3, I am a landlocked country. It's a country that we spoke about in our lesson that doesn't have any coastline at all. And number 4, I am a place on the coast where ships can enter. Well done, guys, for having a go at that. So question 1, I'm a physical feature where high land meets the sea. That is, of course, a cliff. Question 2, I am a land completely surrounded by coastlines and sea. That is, of course, islands. Number 3, I am a landlocked country, Mongolia. Number 4, I am a place on the coast where ships can enter. That is that human feature that we spoke about, harbour. Well done, guys. Some really, really good learning today about coastlines. Just like always, if you need to go back and re-watch this video, that's what's really good about these, that you can go back and re-watch it, have another think about it, have another listen, try and go through some of the activities again. Well done. Thank you for popping in and watching this session. Well done, guys. See you later.